I'm Dan Page and welcome to another episode of Geek Delegation Breakdown. Today we're talking about Crash Bandicoot on the Run, a brand new mobile game from King Digital Entertainment out now on iOS and Android. But before we get into the game, you might be asking, who is Crash Bandicoot? Well, back in the 90s when Nintendo had Mario and Sega had Sonic, Sony needed an accessible character for its new PlayStation console. They looked to developer Naughty Dog, which just a year earlier had signed on to become a subsidiary of Universal. Crash was a huge hit, selling 6 million copies and becoming synonymous with the PlayStation. Naughty Dog would go on to get bought out by Sony, but Crash's rights would be held onto by Universal, who passed it on to its own Activision Blizzard. Crash games began coming out for other platforms like the Xbox, and while he was an icon, he never quite reached the levels of his contemporaries. Naughty Dog couldn't work on Crash games anymore, but they went on to create tons of amazing titles for Sony, including the Uncharted series and The Last of Us 1 and 2, and also get exposed for some really awful working conditions, but this video isn't about that. We're talking about Crash Bandicoot, which was kind of a 3D-ish platformer, played from behind in the third-person angle. This brings us to March 25th, 2021, when Crash Bandicoot on the Run was released. At first glance, it's a simple Temple Run clone. You might remember Temple Run as the heir apparent to Angry Birds. It was on everybody's phone in 2011. It led to dozens of franchises creating their own Temple Run clones, including Sonic himself, the Minions from Despicable Me, even Spider-Man had a game. Recently, these games have seen kind of a comeback, and personally, I love Crazy Taxi City Rush. But Crash Bandicoot on the Run was a very pleasant surprise for me. As with most mobile games, you can unlock skins and characters and special abilities. The environments are great, the sounds are great, and if you happen to be a Crash franchise fan, there's a ton of characters you'll remember, including Coco Bandicoot, his sister, Aku Aku, the witch doctor mess that gave him special abilities, and Dr. Neo Cortex, his mortal enemy. There are multiple mini-boss fights in each level before you meet the final boss. And there's also multiple ways you can go. So replaying levels actually has a little bit of an exploration feel, as opposed to being forced to memorize one path like so many other games in this genre. As a mobile game, it's an amazing distraction, but as a whole, it's really just a lot of fun and nostalgic. This type of game is perfect for the Crash franchise, as this is really how it originated on the PlayStation with a running forward approach. There's tons of little references, and if you download the game, I don't think you'll be disappointed. All in all, I give it an 8.5 out of 10. It's not really groundbreaking in any sense, but it's not trying to be either. And most of all, it's just fun, which a lot of mobile games miss the mark on because they're trying to be too different from the competition. Anyway, I'm Dan Page, I love you guys, and I implore you to give Crash Bandicoot on the Run a try. Subscribe over at the Geek Delegation, and I'll be back with another episode of Breakdown very, very soon.